Good evening and welcome to Insight with me, Palki Sharma Upadhyay. Intelligence agencies have warned all airports across India. Airport security agencies have cautioned of heightened risk due to international events and domestic developments. And NewsX has now accessed an exclusive copy of top-secret government notes on airport security. Agencies have also alerted against possible hijack attempts and attacks on air assets. And these developments...
Armed terrorists seen having a gala time in the snow-capped slopes of South Kashmir. As the state limps back to normalcy, these videos a chilling reminder of the threat out at large.
They are conversing in Kashmiri language, and it seems they are trying to carve out a joint strategy. The meeting assumes significance because, according to the expert, this is the first meeting between the Lashkar and Hizbul Mujahideen militants after the killing of Burhan Wani and after the unrest in Kashmir.
And in another proof of terror tango, Lashkar-e-Taiba and Hizbul terrorists meeting each other at an undisclosed location in Kashmir.
According to the security expert, this may be because of the heavy snowfall in Kashmir Valley, because the militants in summers put up in the forests and orchards, and because of the heavy snow, they are pushed towards the residential areas. So it's assumed that this may be one of the reasons that we can see militants tracking down those snow-clad slopes of South Kashmir.
As the terror agents are out on a prowl, intel agencies have sounded an alert across the nation.
Irrespective of the near foolproof security arrangements around them, air assets, including the airports, remain a highly lucrative target for international terror organizations. And therefore, all the possible alert around them.
Not this year, last 25-30 years, Pakistan has been posing a threat to us, continues to add to the threat, because Pakistan somehow or the other has been considering India a banana republic and a relatively soft space. They continue to do this and get away.
Dreaded terrorists are out in the open, and alerts sounded across the nation as the country gears up for the 68th Republic Day celebrations. Our security agencies on alert, maintaining a strong vigil. Bureau Report, NewsX.
And joining us this evening on Insight, Professor Madhav Nalapa, the editorial director of the Sunday Guardian, Jaydev Ranade, former additional secretary of the Research and Analysis Wing, and Major General. Hi, Professor Madhav Nalapa, the editorial director of the Sunday Guardian, Jaydev Ranade, former additional secretary of the Research and Analysis Wing, and Major General retired Ashok Mehta, who's also a defense analyst. Good evening to all of you. Mr. Ranade, to you first. What do you make of these inputs in the intelligence note and also the video?
Well, firstly, we are heading in for a tense time, the 26th January in the Republic Day Parade. So that's the time when normally our agencies are on heightened alert, as are the security forces. And that is also the time when the terrorists and the terrorist organizations who are based in Pakistan will try and strike at us. I'd also point to the fact that there has been no pressure on Pakistan from anyone else to curb terrorism against India, and in fact by the actions of the Chinese in blocking our technical requests in the UN Sanctions Committee, the Pakistanis would be more emboldened in fact now to also carry out the strike. At the same time, they are looking for new methods of carrying out such attacks, and just in case they are able to pull something off from the air, it could be quite serious, quite deadly, and I think that is the reason why precautions are being taken now, and to guard against anything like that.
Right. General Mehta, I have a copy of that note that we've accessed, and it talks about the possibility of hijack attempts, a possible attack on the air assets. When we talk about intelligence gathering, we talk about actionable intelligence. Is this actionable intelligence?
Well, that's the big question. Is there a tip-off? And the tip-off, we've just seen from Peter Lavoie, who's the U.S. Rep in the National Security Council on South Asia. He has talked about a lot of counter-terrorism cooperation. between India and Pakistan, and according to him, and I have no reason to disbelieve that, a number of terrorist attacks planned either in Pakistan or elsewhere were thwarted as a result of the tip-off. Now, if this information is as a result of a tip-off, it should be taken seriously. But as Mr. Ranade has pointed out, that every year, Republic Day, we hear this, because New Delhi and every state capital is a huge soft target.
But this time it's not just the airports which are functional, even the ones which are not are possibly going to be used as a base.
No. So, you know, we have to take this threat as per the grade or the rating that the intelligence agencies have given. So this seems to be a carte blanche across India, and therefore there is no specific, as you said yourself, actionable intelligence. You know, this thing about microlight and gliders, I've been hearing about this from the time I was in the army also. And therefore, I think we have to wait for that. But having said that, I'll make just two other points. Firstly, that we take this threat very seriously. But as far as Pakistan is concerned, I mean, who will want to mount an attack against India? The IS or Pakistan? Well, if you look at Pakistan, my own assessment is that Pakistan at this time would not want to carry out any spectacular attack in New Delhi. And don't forget, the United Arab Emirates Crown Prince is going to be here.
Absolutely.
And he wanted his commandos to land on the Rajpath and do the march past, and we turned that down, again because of the security threat it would pose. So, in short, take the threat seriously, but think about it again, because Pakistan will think twice before doing anything against India. After this new, there is a new dispensation, a new army chief, a new ISI chief, and Mr. Nawaz Sharif does not want relations with India to deteriorate any further. If anything, he wants to improve relations with India.
Right. Professor Nalapat, it is not our idea to spread panic, and experts like you, of course, can sift through what is worth worrying about and what isn't. But for a layperson, when you hear about the top intelligence agencies talking about a heightened threat perception, how do they see it and how do they respond?
Well, Palki, I'd like to point out the first line of defense of a country against terror attack is an alert citizenry. So almost all these terror attacks will have some local involvement, and they will have some preparations made locally in our country. So this kind of an alert will help people to be more alert during the succeeding days and to try and find out if there's anything suspicious in the behavior of individuals or in the behavior of strangers, and then if so, to report to the authorities so that they can avert an attack. So I think this is basically a good way of ensuring that there is much more heightened security in, as General Mehta was pointing out, a very sensitive situation. But I also want to point out one fact, and which is that there are very powerful terror groups in Pakistan who would like, frankly, to see India and Pakistan at war with each other. And certainly they would like to see tension between India and Pakistan. They would not like to see cooperation, especially cooperation on terrorism. So they would like to destroy any such thawing of the relationship, and they probably assume that a strong terror attack would be the best way of ensuring that the two countries remain far apart.
Mr. Ranade, three developments in the past 3 days. On 9th January, Monday, and I'm reading off a press report, an Interpol tip-off about a bomb on board a flight bound for Kuala Lumpur put Mumbai's Chhatrapati Shivaji International Airport on high alert, and they had to check more than 400 passengers, 500 pieces of check-in baggage through high security. Then we access this intelligence note talking about a heightened threat perception, and then these two videos coming out of Kashmir, and as our correspondent was pointing out, alleged Lashkar and Hizbul militants talking, strategizing in the Kashmiri language. Is it premature to link all three?
It's not premature. In fact, that is what intelligence is all about linking the dots and connecting the dots, and that's what the effort is. But here, in the intelligence alert that we've received, and keeping in mind what happened on the 9th of January, there is a focus apparently on aerial attacks or air assets also. You referred to unused airfields being utilized. That presupposes that the person who is mounting the attack would have access to either a drone or a light aircraft which he would use. That may be a bit difficult. I think the easier options would be hijacking, etc. And that is what the people are guarding against. Obviously, to refer to what General Mehta said, refer to his point, there is no pinpointed intelligence as to where the strike will occur or what precise form it will take.
Or if there is, we don't know about it.
Yeah, but then you don't get all that. Or, as you said, we don't know about it, good enough. But I think it is a serious enough matter, and the government has obviously put in place counter measures.
General Mehta, I'd like you to dwell a bit on the videos as well. What do you make of those two sets of video images that have come out?
I haven't actually seen the video, but I want to make 2 points. That when there is a threat of this magnitude, then the United States would give you some kind of actionable intelligence on this, whether it is emanating from Pakistan or from elsewhere. So, as in the past, we've been able to avert attacks based on this kind of specific actionable intelligence. But on Pakistan, I just want to go back to an incident that happened in Pakistan, and it's news all across Pakistan, was on 6th of October, and the story was carried by the Don Cyril Almeida. At that time, Mr. Ijaz Chaudhry, who's the Foreign Secretary of Pakistan, confronted Rizwan Akhtar, who was then the DG-ISI, and he said, look, please rein in the Lashkar-e-Taiba and the Jaish-e-Mohammed or act against them because it's giving us a very bad international image. And Rizwan Akhtar is supposed to have turned around and told Mr. Ijaz Chaudhry, I say, what's the difference between you and India? And at that time, and this story is well known in Pakistan, but there was another. At that time, and this story is well known in Pakistan, but there was another story, which another agreement in this meeting where the Prime Minister was President Rahil Sharif, and that was, please do not carry out any other attacks against India. Now, you may not believe this. I mean, I'm not inclined to believe the second story because the second story never got published. In my interactions as convener of the India-Pakistan dialogue, last month we were in Dubai, and I met a number of Pakistani generals as well as Pakistani journalists. I met a dozen journalists from Pakistan in Dubai. And this Cyril Almeida story is being taken very seriously. In fact, even today, there is talk in Pakistan that Nawaz Sharif wants the new military dispensation to go easy against India. So, given this background, while I would take the alert very seriously, I would be a little doubtful about Pakistani Lashkar or Jaish-e-Mohammed carrying out any spectacular attacks, because anything that happens on 26th January or near about is a spectacular attack because you have a very, very soft and vulnerable target. So the Pakistanis have to be warned about that, and therefore it's a matter of how you look at this. Take the threat seriously.
Right.
But also remember that this is the background discussion in Pakistan, of the change of military regime that let's go slow against India.
You want to make a point?
I just want to add that the Lashkar-e-Taiba in Pakistan is very strong, very powerful, as is Hafiz Saeed. I mean, he's a man who's been issuing threats to the Pakistani government also and pointing to how the Chinese treat the Muslim Uyghurs in Xinjiang province. So much so that in early December, the Chinese premier actually warned the Pakistanis to ensure that terror attacks do not happen against Chinese workers, etc. And that is fairly recent. More recently, you must have read about the Chinese sealing off, or at least Xinjiang province, sealing off the borders with Pakistan. This comes after repeated efforts to try and control the flow. So there are two questions that come up. One, while the Pakistani establishment may not want, as you said, quote unquote, a spectacular attack, an attack may still happen. Secondly, can they really control Hafiz Saeed and the others?
Absolutely. That is the big question. And the more worrying part, according to some, is the fact that a lot of these elements could be homegrown, could be youth who've been led astray. And how easy or difficult would it be for generals sitting in Pakistan or terror masterminds to be able to control that? But it's heartening to know that you do not feel that there's much to worry about, because we have the Crown Prince of the UAE coming, and so Pakistan is going to watch what it does. But I'm going to thank you all for joining us here, and I have to take a short break here on Insight.